Welcome to Uncovering My Voice, the Christian talk show where we listen to your story. You know what? Today we're having for the first time season 2 of Uncovering My Voice, and we are here with a live studio audience. Woo! That's right. We've come a long way. And you know what? Who do we have to be thankful? You guys. Woo! It's all because of you why we're able to have this show today. We started a year ago, and you're the ones who have given me the energy, the wind beneath my wing, and we are still flying high today. So I'm going to introduce my panelists. I'm going to start with Claudie. Claudie, who is Claudie?
My name is Claudie Adecat, and I am 37 years old. I'm a high school secretary, and I am married to my high school sweetheart, and we have a 13-year-old daughter.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Welcome, Claudie. But before I ask you the first question, I want to give the viewing audience a little stats about breast cancer. Did you know that this year, over 30,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer? 30,000. Think about that. Did you know that this year, 5,500 women are estimated to die of breast cancer? And one last one. Did you know that on average, 84 Canadian women will be diagnosed with breast cancer per day? So those are some stats for you to think about. Will you be a part of these statistics? All right. So, Claudie, can you tell us a little bit about your story? When were you diagnosed with breast cancer?
I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 33 years old in 2020, right when the pandemic started. So it was very tough, and I initially was feeling pain. Not even pain, discomfort in my left arm, and
In your arm?
in my
So
arm.
not even in your breast, in your arm?
Yeah, mostly
Okay.
in my arm,
Okay.
a little in my breast, but because I was weightlifting at that time, I thought that it was because of that. And after I stopped for a couple of weeks and I still had pain, it was getting worse, and that's when I decided to go to get it checked out. I got a biopsy, and
Sure enough.
yes, sure enough, I was diagnosed a few months later with breast cancer.
Wow. All right. Just going to give you a minute there, and I'm going to roll over to Pat. Everybody, let's give a warm welcome to Pat.
Hi, everybody.
Before Pat speaks, tell us who is Pat.
Sure. My name is Pat Patrick. I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago. I am. I don't know if there's any Trinis in the audience.
Anybody in the audience from Trinidad? Yes, I'm sure they are.
Okay. I'm an educator by by profession and many other things.
Yes, he's my colleague.
Yes. Yeah. We look at that. I'm a father of 3 sons, and it's been great.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. So, you know what? A lot of people, when we think of breast cancer, including myself, we think it is predominantly about women. But studies have shown that in Canada this year, 290 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer. And of that 290, 60 will succumb to the disease. Those are some big numbers. Are you going to be a part of that statistic? Pat, how did you find out that you had?
It's really, it's. I think for men, breast cancer can be very aggressive. So it's a timing thing. I was diagnosed August of last year. So I was feeling a lump sometimes, a little something,
Yeah.
once in a while, but sometimes I wasn't sure what that was.
So you actually felt a lump.
I felt something
But did
that
you,
just
in your
wasn't
mind,
right.
did you ever think breast cancer?
No, not at all, not at all.
Yeah.
But what happens is a lot of men don't pay attention to those things. And what happens, it's so aggressive because you have less tissue in men. So once that lump starts, it starts heading towards your lymph nodes. And then before you know it, it's in your lungs. So you have people who, you hear them diagnosed with lung cancer and they don't smoke, they don't do anything. And you want to know, well, it started there and you weren't really seeing it. So yeah.
That's something that's new to me. I don't know. Have you ever, did you know this? No. Did you know that? So I want to ask you another question before I go back to Claudie. Pat, how do men test for breast cancer?
How do men test for breast cancer? That's a good question. It seems to be once it presents itself, then it's the same type of testing that women go through. So the mammogram, the ultrasound, that mammogram experience is crazy for men.
So I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm like, this is serious, but sometimes you just have to really figure it out in your head. How did you do a mammogram?
Listen, I tell my wife so much. We had so much, jokes about that, just that experience. Because I'm asking her, because I know women go often to do your testing. So tell me about this mammogram thing. Prep me a little bit. Let me get myself ready. She says, no big deal. So I go to the thing, and I'm into machinery, and I understand how machines work. The machine, there's a foot press that they step on, and then this thing kind of they put your breast into that.
Yeah.
But for women, there's a gap. It would be a bigger gap. But for men, this thing is being controlled by a foot press, and she's just bringing this thing down and literally.
On what?
Listen
Bringing it
to
down
me.
on what?
That was a very painful experience for me.
Yeah.
Traumatic.
I can only imagine.
Let me tell you, I respect women so much. As far as your pain threshold, men can't handle nothing like that. Nothing like that. That was crazy for me, that one thing. But there's many others.
Oh, okay.
But that's it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I want to ask the audience, men, have you ever thought about breast cancer? Have you ever thought about the fact that you should be testing for breast cancer? Just answer. Just yes or no. Shake your head. No. And then I'm going to ask the women. How many of us in here are actively testing for breast cancer? Okay. We have one, we have two, and we have a big enough crowd, right? So I'm part of those that didn't put their hands up because we're not actively testing, right? So Claudie, tell us what happened after you discovered that you had breast cancer.
Well, also, I forgot to add that once I was going through the test, I did an MRI, they did a mammogram, and they did other tests, and they thought it looked suspicious, but after the biopsy, it came back negative. So I did, they took many samples, it came back negative, but my surgeon had told me to, if I want to, I can have it removed so they could have a closer look. I could wait another 6 months or do it now.
Yeah.
And I said I would rather do it now because I just can't even
Do what?
have a lump. It's called a lumpectomy.
Take
It's
the
to
lump
remove the lump.
Oh, okay.
And COVID slowed everything down. But
For
once
sure.
once I started to feel, I actually felt very bad discomfort. So I called her, and she was such a great surgeon that 2 days later my surgery was scheduled.
Yeah.
And once they removed it, I went for a post-op appointment, and that's when I was diagnosed. Surely enough, I was shocked.
When was this? In COVID 2020?
Yes.
Okay.
So April of 2020. And it
So
just
that is kind of stressful to just to hear.
Yeah.
Because you actually did all the biopsies and the tests.
Yes.
And they all came back negative.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's the other thing, is just to be very vigilant and knowing your body and advocating for yourself, because a lot of times when they don't find something, they will tell you to wait it out. Even if it looks suspicious, because they have so many, I believe that it may be because of the amount of people who are going through tests and everything and
Did you
surgery.
hear the stats?
Yes. And that's what I believe. But I'm happy that I went with with my guts and
Yes.
just had it done right
Yeah.
away.
Did you do a
And
surgery?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a double mastectomy.
Oh.
So, yeah.
What is that?
That's when they remove everything,
What?
all the breast tissue.
Oh.
So yeah, I have nothing there right now. But something I wanted to say that Claudia said, you got to listen to your body. You have to listen to your body. I was acting vice principal at a school, and the last day of school, I just felt so tired. The tired wasn't just a normal tired. It was like if you were just drained.
Yes.
And that made me really say, I have to go and check what's going on here.
Yes.
And yeah, it was early, but it was caught in time.
Okay. We're coming to you shortly. I'm going back to Claudie for one more question. Claudie, how has this affected your life, your family?
well, after having been diagnosed, and I had to, they found it early enough, the cancer at an early stage, but it turned out I still had to do uh, all the treatments, the chemotherapy, the radiation, and then 5 years of hormonal therapy.
Oh.
I believe honestly that it this happening, the cancer, it brought me closer to my family, and not only family, friends as well, people that you never thought cared. I had such an outpouring of love
Support.
and support, and it's just people. I had friends, my coworkers had made a care basket for me. I had a friend come and drop off groceries, and all of this without asking. But it's just while I was going through so much negativity in my body and life, as it's just to have people there and your family show up and show out for you.
That's awesome.
It's just, it makes you realize, because some people don't have the same experience.
Yes.
They're very lonely. They go through
Yes.
it alone. But me, it actually, on the positive side, it affected to see my friends and family just
Rally
show me
around.
so much
Yes,
love. That was the
yes.
best. But unfortunately, I had many bad side effects from
Okay.
from the chemotherapy treatment that left me with permanent disability in my hands. I
Oh.
might be holding the mic, but my hands, the chemotherapy killed all the nerves in my hands.
Oh my gosh.
So, I'm sorry.
Okay. We'll give Claudia a minute. We'll give Claudia a minute, and we'll come over to you.
Sure.
Are you?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You don't need to apologize. We love you, Claudie. Right? Yes. We love you, Claudie. So we'll give Claudia a minute to just. So tell us about how it has affected your family, Pat.
So not only my family, Claudia was saying, it brings your family together.
Yes.
It's a very personal journey. You know,
Yes.
it brought me closer to God.
Oh yes.
It brought me so much closer to God. And you know, just seeing, and I use in my testimony as I go anywhere I go, just seeing God move in my life, where even the surgeon is asking me, how did you find that?
Yes.
How did you see, what told you that this lump is here? Because it's so early.
Yes.
But even though it's so early, it's so aggressive that it's
Yes.
already going. I remember in the ultrasound when I was lying down, the technician was doing the scan thing, and she looked, and then she kind of trailed off.
Yes.
And I watched, and I saw her face change.
Yes.
And I said, something's not right there.
Yes.
You know, so unfortunately, fortunately, I didn't have to do any chemo.
Oh.
I didn't have to do any radiation.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I see God, for me, you know, stepping in and just giving me this experience.
Yes.
Even when I did the last surgeon who was going to determine whether I had to do chemo or radiation, she said she needs a second opinion. She's going to send my blood to California to do, because being a man, and it's so unique.
Yes.
She never had that, so she wants to send it to get a second opinion. When she got the second opinion, it basically said, this guy doesn't have cancer anymore.
Oh.
So let me tell you, that's what my God could do for me.
Yes.
That's what He does for me.
Am-
So I'm just happy to share that with
Yeah.
other people.
Yes.
That God can move for you and in any circumstance.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. And you, God is working for you too, because you're on year 4 of your treatment, right? So just a few more months.
Yes.
And then we'll be singing like he's singing, right?
Exactly.
But we're singing right now with
Yes,
you because
yes,
you have
yes.
come a long way. It has been, and you are such a faithful person. I'm always seeing you and talking with you. I never really heard you complain about anything, right?
Yeah.
So we're here. We're happy for you. And I'm praying for you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
So did you want to finish the point?
Well, yeah. Now that I'm back to myself, yes. So yeah. Sometimes we see people go through cancer. We think once everything's done, everything will go back to normal, which
Yes.
is what I was expecting. But yeah, I didn't even get to finish my last round of treatment because my body couldn't handle it anymore.
Right.
Chemotherapy actually hurts your bones a lot. So
Okay.
there was I spent 5 days in bed. I couldn't move because of all the bone pain I was
Yes.
having. So again, it's just a lot of nerve damage. At first it was in my feet and my
Yes, because
hands.
when we talked about the shoes,
Yes.
you were saying your feet don't behave as well
yes,
as they used
so
to behave.
I used to have over 50 pairs of high heel shoes that a lot of them I had to get rid of because
Oh,
I just couldn't walk in them anymore. But now my feet are a little better, but
Right.
it's my hands. So I'm in chronic pain every day.
okay. And
Every
I
day.
know we have to hurry and get you off here because honestly,
Because I do take a lot of
she
medication
has to
as
take
well
her
to deal
medication
with
in a
it.
few minutes. So we're gonna get her
It's-
out of here in a few
it's okay.
minutes. All right, let's give them a
Yes.
round of applause. Thank you so much, Claudie. Thank you so much. I want to roll over to my friend, my beautiful smiling friend over here, Saskie. For those of you who don't know, Saskie is actually Claudie's sister. Right? So, Saskie, who is Saskie?
So my name is Saskie. Well, it's actually Saskie Annie, but
oh, didn't
for
know
short,
that.
yeah, not a lot of people know, but my name is Saskie Annie Adecat, and I'm Claudie's little sister. And I work for the Ontario government. I am married to, well, my sister married her her high school sweetheart. I married my elementary sweetheart. Yes, and we have 2 kids together, a boy and a girl, 5 years old and 2 years old.
All right.
Yes.
Now, Saskie, do you have breast cancer?
No, I
Are
do
you a
not.
breast cancer survivor?
No, I'm a breast cancer previvor.
Previvor. Have you ever heard that
Yes.
term? Breast cancer previvor. Please explain what that means.
Yes, so as you heard my sister's story, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, but what she didn't mention is that my mom had breast cancer also, and my grandma had breast cancer also, which she passed away of. So after seeing that my sister caught it,
Yes.
and so young, I decided to get tested and see my likelihood of getting breast cancer. And
What is that test like?
so the test is basically a blood sample that you send, and
Okay.
they do a genetic testing.
Oh.
Yes. So they told me it's not, especially with my family history of breast cancer, it's not a matter of if I get breast cancer, it's a matter of when I get breast cancer.
Oh.
Yes. So I
Took
thought
some
about
big
it.
steps.
Oh yeah, I took some big steps. They gave me some options. They said what I can do is just get. So they put me on the breast cancer program. It's like a screening program where you get tested often. So like twice a year or 3 times a year, and
That must be hard.
it's very hard because, like Pat mentioned, the mammogram,
Yes.
the squeeze. I was like, to do this twice or 3 times a year, absolutely not. And they said, well, what they can do is that, and then they can catch it early.
Right.
So it would be, I would still have it, but
Right.
they would just catch it early.
Right.
Or I can just do a double mastectomy and basically put my risk from high to extremely low, unlikely to
Right.
ever get breast cancer.
But not zero?
Not zero. So it's
Oh.
not zero, but it's
Really
it's
low.
very preventative. It's very, very low.
Okay.
And, you know, I was very young when my mom had breast cancer. But I do remember when she was doing chemo, how it was. It was really, really bad. She couldn't cook for us. She couldn't do anything. I remember chemo turned her nose green. Like, these are things that I remember as I was in elementary, but I do remember these things. And then when my sister had breast cancer, that's when it was crazy. First, it was COVID. So it was really hard because, you know, I have young kids who go to daycare and all of that. So, you know, she's in chemo, so she's very vulnerable to sicknesses. So it was very hard because, you know, I want to be there with her physically all the time. But if I feel like, you know, my throat is tingling or anything like that, it's like I can't be there, you know. So, and I saw the pain that she went through. It was really, really bad. And and honestly, like she said, she wasn't able to complete her last round of chemo because we saw if she did that last round, there's no way she would have been here right now.
Okay.
It was very, very hard on her. My mom and I were like,
It's okay. Sorry. It's okay. Just show them some love, people. Show them some love.
sorry. So it was bad to the point where she has a daughter, and my mom and I were already, like, we saw how bad it was. So we were already making plans for, like, just in case anything happens.
Well, thank God.
Yeah.
She's here with us.
And
Come
she's
on.
here, so
She's here.
yeah. Yeah, so it was definitely tough on the family. So yeah, I saw that. I have 2 young kids.
Yes.
Um,
One girl.
I have one girl, you know. I have my little daughter. She was 1 years old at the time. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, she was 1 years old at the time, and then I have my son, you know. And if there's one thing I know, there's, like, dads are amazing, but there's nothing like a mom.
Yes.
And I do everything for my kids. Everything I sacrifice for my kids.
Right.
And I told myself I have to be there for them. I spoke to my husband about it, and he told me, like, get rid of them. And I said, I'm so happy we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So
Those are my words exactly. I'm
Yeah.
like, get rid of them.
yeah, get rid of them. Get rid of them completely.
You know what? We spend so much of our lives without them.
yeah.
You remember those days? We don't have them.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And yeah, so I made that decision. But what's funny is I actually did that. I made that decision actually a year and a half ago.
Yes.
But I did the mistake of talking to people about it.
Oh.
And people will put things in your head.
Yeah. Especially if we're from a certain background where
Yes.
it's driven by fear,
Mhm.
right? It's like, oh my God, I wouldn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
But you did what you wanted to do.
I did
anyway.
what I needed to do.
What
I
you
prayed
needed to
about
do.
it. Yeah, I prayed about it. Because people put things in my head, I kind of just put it to the side. But then I went to my doctor, and my doctor's like, you haven't booked your, you know, and I was like, and that's the thing. I told myself, if the doctor talks to me about it that time, that's God telling me, you need to do
Yes.
this. And the doctor spoke to me, and I didn't really tell anyone.
You
I
me.
told I did. I told you. I told few people at church that I trusted.
Yes.
Like I did tell my daughter's Sabbath school teacher. She's so supportive. So I felt so comfortable telling her
Yes.
about it to pray for me.
Yes.
And like there's just a handful of people that I did tell right before,
Yes.
but most people found out after.
Okay.
So
Most people still don't know, and they're going to find out this way, right?
yeah, they're gonna.
Afterwards.
Yes.
But Saskie, so tell us what you actually did.
Okay, so I did a double mastectomy. So what they did is they actually they removed completely the breast tissue and all the filling of the breast,
Yes.
and then they took some of my stomach fat to reconstruct. So that's a plus for.
Yeah, I remember
So-
volunteering some of mine, but she had enough.
Yeah. So that was a plus. But there's a two-part to that surgery. So I only did the first part. So right now, I do have like the reconstructive and the skin around it is also skin from my stomach.
Oh.
So right now I don't have any nipples. Yeah. So
So
yeah.
tell us, you were telling me, I was wondering, when you told me you needed to go back and reattach your nipples,
Mhm.
I was wondering if it was your original nipples that you froze or something. Because you see, ignorance is a hell of a thing.
Mm.
So tell us what happened with your nipples. Why didn't you keep those?
Yes. So I did the non nipple sparing. So basically, that's when they just take out everything. Some people want to keep their nipples, but there's still a chance of like cancer inside the nipple to develop. So I said, get rid of it all, right? So actually, next week, Wednesday, I'm scheduled to get a nipple reconstruction. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but they're going to take some skin or something and then kind of form it into a nipple. And then I have the option after that heals if I want to tattoo a areola to make it look normal.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'll see how it goes after
Wow.
that. But, yep.
Wow. Wow. Everybody's in awe. We're in awe.
yeah,
But we are excited to know that you have gone through the worst part of that and that you are here smiling and celebrating because now you don't have to worry about doing all those mammograms every year, right? Maybe once a year now.
No, actually, I don't qualify to do it unless I do feel something.
Okay.
Yeah, so because they do the double mastectomy, they don't need to do the testing anymore because the chances are just so low.
Awesome. Give her
Yeah.
a big round of applause. Come on. All right.
I just wanted to say, for men, I think getting ready for the MRI, they inject a dye. I don't know.
Yes.
So let me tell you, that is one of the most painful experiences because they do it without anesthesia, without anything. And I remember just yelling at the top of my voice in the hospital, and I can't even describe what that pain feels like. And I was wondering, you're not going to give me any kind of tablets or anything? You're not? She said, no, you can't. They used to do that a long time ago, but now they don't. And they're injecting this dye into your nipple. It's so painful. And then you have to get 4 of them. So that was taking away. And I remember when I came back a couple weeks after, while I was healing and all that, I saw the same nurse that did it for me. And it was so traumatic to see her
You
again.
cut your eye on
Oh,
her.
my goodness. But yeah, that's a memorable experience. I don't know if you recall that.
All right. So we're going to have a wrap-up question in a little bit. But before we do the wrap-up question, I want each of you to ask one question from something you said. And we're going to give away 3 tickets to a concert that's coming up by Brother Dale. And Brother Dale is in the audience. So we're going to give away 3 tickets. So you want to go first, Saskie?
Sure. So I guess my question is, how many people in my family did I mention had breast cancer?
Okay. Well, she yelled it out. She so can I have one of my crew hand this ticket over to Latoya? Latoya, come. You're not eligible for the next question, obviously. Kevin? Kevin?
Very much.
Wait. Ay. All right, thank you. Claudie, you want to ask a question?
How old was I when I was diagnosed with breast cancer?
Okay, I heard that from Sammy. Well, I guess that's what's happening, my friend. Sammy, come on now. Well, she won't be able to stand up.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. And let's hear from Pat.
So my question is, what month was I diagnosed with cancer?
Yes.
I think you're just guessing now.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
The-
So we're gonna hold on to this ticket because we didn't get an. Do we have an answer in the back? Not July. Not June. May.
I did give
You
a
didn't
month.
say the month.
I did. No, it was not.
End of school year, people.
I know. No. 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 I. August. Yeah, I did say no.
I can't believe people don't know the end of the school year.
Well, June is the end.
No, August.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. The new school year begins September.
Oh, in September. Yes. Yes. That's true.
All right. We're going to wrap up now. I'm just going to ask these ladies one last question before we end. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people watching this show, and there are people who are going to be watching this show who might be experiencing something similar. Saskia, you could speak from your experience as a previvor, and Claudie and Pat could speak as survivors. They're watching and they're looking on and they're listening to your story, and they want to know if they are going through something like that, or how to prepare for something like this. What is your advice to someone who is watching this show right now? What would you say? Let's start with Claudie.
To prepare. Sorry for.
Prepare, going through it. Any advice you want to pass on?
My advice, honestly, is just to hang on to God, because I was drifting far from God before I was diagnosed. One thing that I can say that was that brought out positiveness out of my illness was the fact that I was able to reconnect with God. And I had even stopped attending church, and life was just in
Nice.
the way. Yeah,
Totally.
exactly. So I was
Outside
just
nice.
yes. And no, this experience, it just, because I wasn't reading my Bible, I wasn't praying every day. I honestly, I'm ashamed to say it, but I would go months without talking to God. But now I make it a priority every morning to wake up at 6 a.m. to do this 1 hour prayer. Yes, it's a must.
Thank you.
And it's just brought me so much closer. Sometimes you're so deep down into a depression. And I am still dealing with depression from this anxiety.
Right.
And when it's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry and to feel all your emotions if you're going through it. It's absolutely okay. And the other thing that I would say to prepare is that there's something that people do is they're trying to be good and give you advice, but at the same time, they're telling you, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't sleep with your phone next to your head, and all those types of advice that it's like, okay. And they're like, go straight vegan. But for me, it was sometimes you just haven't eaten in so many days and you just want that, let's say burgers or fries. I just went for that because there are certain things that will bring you joy, make you happy. And that's what it's all about, because some people are going to be fine. So I've seen some people go through treatments and go to work right after. But for me, after each treatment, I was
Are you back
in
at work?
bed. Unfortunately, no, because of my disability. I am a high school secretary and I have
need to
to
use your
type and use my hands a lot. And it's extremely difficult to use my hands all the time, especially with everything I already have to do
So that's a major
at home.
impact for
Yes,
you there.
it is. And it's just, that's what makes me so sad, is that I'm so young and there's so many things that I wanted to do. It's just trying to relearn how to live now with this disability. But again,
Awesome.
God is just awesome.
Yeah.
And it's just, even when I was in the deepest depths, like I would just sleep and talk to him. It's just reading certain Bible verses will just help you out a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Claudie. Thank you so much. Pat, what's your advice to anyone looking on? And I know you need to talk to the men.
Talk to the men. You know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of men don't go to the doctor regularly. They
No.
don't have a relationship with the doctors.
No.
You gotta
Especially
be
black
going.
men.
Yeah, you gotta be
Yeah.
going to the doctor regularly. I'm also diabetic, so I just want to just put that out there.
That's
So
double whammy.
I was forced on a regular, 3 month schedule to go visit. So I'm going there all the time. So when something is a little different, I could speak to it.
Yes.
So I would recommend that you build a relationship, a regular relation, not 1 year.
Right.
Go to your doctor and see what's going on. Even your
Right.
doctor, because my doctor said, Pat, that is nothing. That is probably protein or, even at the ultrasound, he said, when I see stuff like this, it's usually nothing.
Yeah.
So you also have to be persistent. Don't take no for listen to your body. If you're feeling tired, you're not feeling well,
Get a second
get
opinion.
a second opinion. Talk to somebody.
Right.
As far as the relationship with God, my faith is just I can move mountains.
Yes.
And not
Yes.
me moving the mountains, God moving mountains for me.
Yes.
I just had to just present myself.
Yes.
So that's the kind of faith I have. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just moving in faith and very confident in that. And that's what I would say. Just build a relationship with God, because he cares about you. When you really think about how God really cares about little you,
Yes.
that he's going to take time, interrupt the universe, and pay attention to your issue.
Yes.
That's just amazing for me. So I just encourage everybody, just go to the doctor, please.
Go to the doctor. And finally, let's hear from our friend Saskie. What's your encouragement to anybody who is listening to your story?
Well, just two short things. The first thing is, I know it sounds like it was just easy, double mastectomy, flat tummy, all of that, but it's not. It's my surgeon kept telling me this is not a cosmetic surgery. And it's really not, because I actually, right now I call my breast alien breast because it doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look good. And one thing she said, it's important to have support from your spouse also. Unfortunately, what she had told me is a lot of women lose their husbands over this type of surgery. And I understand why that could happen, because you don't look like yourself anymore. It's just not, again, it's not a cosmetic thing, and it's also a lot on the body. So while I was recovering, it's a 10-week recovery around, but I do have a toddler and I do have, a son that I'm taking care of at the same time. So it's even now, like my body, I'm still in pain. It's a lot, but again, it's much more worth it than having to, go through the whole,
per year.
all of that, and even doing chemo and all of that. So that's one thing, just that it's not like, don't think it's going to be like a new body, like a nice type of thing. It's not. It's just, it's preventative, and it will save your life. It can save your life. The other thing I will say also is, I know there are a lot of people who kind of saw it as, that's you not trusting God.
Ooh. What about wisdom, man? God gives us wisdom.
Exactly. Because some people did say, you just have to trust God that it won't happen. But hey, at the end of the day,
She trusted God.
she trusted.
He trusted
Exactly.
God.
They did.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't have cancer, I felt like me not doing it would be disobedient to God
Yes.
because of all the signs he gave me to do it.
Great.
And there's no way I'm going to look back and be like, I should have done it when I did it.
Yeah.
You know, so one thing I will say is you have to, everyone has that personal relationship with God. You
Right.
have to listen to what God is telling you personally,
I love it.
so that you can, you can make that right decision for you. Not a lot of people will do this, but I
Yeah,
stand by my
I'm scared.
decision.
It's
Oh yeah, I
scary.
know. But I stand by my decision, and
Yeah.
I 100% I wouldn't have done it any other way.
I love it. Come on. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show. I am really grateful to these three wonderful people for coming on to just to share their journey. I mean, this is very heartwarming, but a lot of information was given here, and I'm hoping that you watching, you listening, are taking notes, because it is very important that we go to our doctors, get these checks, and more than all, that we form this relationship with God, because in the end, that's all that matters, your relationship with God and your body, right? So thank you, Saskie, Claudie, and Pat. I have a gift for you. But before I give you this gift, I just want to remind my viewers, please subscribe to this channel, like this conversation, and share this with a friend. Let's Talk with Karen. That's the name of the channel. But the talk show is Uncovering My Voice. So until next time, when I see you again, it's bye-bye from Uncovering My Voice.